Alright guys, welcome back to the Rolling Success. Today we're in a car with Maple Biker.
Hey everyone.
Maple Biker is known to annihilate the 410 highways and pass by you without you ever knowing he's Maple Biker. So I tell him to slow down. But anyways, welcome back guys. Actually, we're both into bikes, and we thought we'd get some coffee and talk about some bike stuff.
Yeah, because we are in Canada and it's getting cold out here. It's close to 8 degrees right now.
Yeah, 8 degrees Celsius. Is how much in Fahrenheit? Probably.
I think it's gonna be close to 0 Fahrenheit for the Americans, I think.
Let's see. Hey Siri, what's 8 degrees Celsius to Fahrenheit? 46 Fahrenheit. 46. So it'll be dropping into the 30s by like end of this month. But anyways, riding season's done in Canada, and we're gonna make these type of in-car vlogs talking about you know, bikes. And today I wanted to sort of ask my friend here about what it is to be a motorcycle collector. I'll show you his collection in another video, or I'll add some clips when I'll tell him to send me some clips. He's got multiple bikes, old school, new, vintage, but the ones I'm interested really in is the new gen stuff, especially like the H2. So first of all, what made you get an H2?
So for me, well, it goes back to 2015-14 actually. So how it all started. For those who don't know about me, I grew up in the bike culture actually back in India. My father was a mechanic and a restorer for the vintage bikes. So most of my life I grew up riding vintage bikes. And I think my first bike I rode was 1930s or something, a small 150cc bike. That's how I started. I was barely 13 or 12 at the time. So eventually I grew up on the big bikes, from 350s, 500 to 650s, 700. And coming back to like why I decided to get an H2. Well, I was just sitting in my room back in 2014 or 15, and suddenly I saw a press release for the H2. And I'm always been a fan of Kawasaki since the beginning. And when I saw this bike, it made one of those things, you know, when you saw something, you want it, you know, you just fell in love with it. I like the curves of this bike, the shape, like it was so menacing. And when you look at it,
it was advertised, and I think it still is one of the fastest bikes in the world type of thing.
It is the fastest road legal production bike in the world.
Okay.
There will be other companies which will say they are the fastest, but no. But here's the thing, bike was launched back in 2015.
Yeah.
So what's now close to 10 years now? It's 9 years.
Yeah.
Even till this date, you go to any Kawasaki website, regardless what region you are in the world, like what country you are in, even it's a Kawasaki, North America, Canada, Europe, only for this bike Kawasaki has never released its numbers. So you go to the website, they have everything listed except the torque and how much horsepower this bike makes.
So what are people testing them out as?
So the stock bike, there's some videos on YouTube. The stock bike is pushing 230.
230. So for reference, the new gen S1Ks are around the 210, 208 mark, right?
And this is 10 years.
10 years prior, yeah.
The bike was pushing 225, 230.
And ZX14s, and what about like the ZX14 Hayabusas? They were pushing around
close to 98, 198, 200.
200, okay, yeah. So that tells you that this bike was ahead of its time, first of all, yeah.
Definitely.
Okay, and then so you have owned an H2 for quite a few years now. I rode the bike once full on the highway, and
you rode the fully modified version.
Yeah, fully modified one,
not the stock one.
Not the stock one. So he had a stock one, and he has a modified one that we purchased through a friend, and basically it scared the living crap out of me. And that's the best way to explain it, to keep the video short on that part. But the bike is, honestly, it is something that I've never experienced before, and coming from a leader bike, I thought like, wow, like this, everything must be very similar, but it is a different animal.
It is completely, even the bike in the stock form, even if you're coming from a standard like just a regular 1000cc, and if you switch to the Kawasaki S1 H2, it's a huge night and day difference.
Yeah.
Well, my experience with the bike, with the stock one, when I bought it, the first bike I bought it in 2021 brand new, and the other one which he rode, that's a 2019, which I bought it off one of our friend in the group. So when I rode my 2021 bike for the first time, trust me, I was scared as hell.
Yeah,
Okay,
I mean, I would be too.
Because it was the first time me riding, because H2 is a hyperbike, it's not a super sports bike. It falls under the hyperbike category.
Yeah, well, I again, for me, what I think of the H2 as is, let's say you have to explain it in the exotic car world. So you have your sports cars, let's say, you know, your 911s, then you have your exotics, let's say, you know, Lamborghinis, Ferraris, then you have your hypercars. So your 600s are sports cars, your 1000cc leader bikes are like exotics, if I'm looking at the classified field, and then stuff like the H2 is like hypercars, and hypercars aren't meant to be, I would say, used on a road as often.
Yeah,
they're more meant to be a collector's piece, and they're more meant to be pieces you have in your collection that you take out once a while. But I've noticed that Kawasaki also now on their Instagram and the way they advertise the H2 are limited run edition number bikes, right?
yes. So when the bike was launched back in 2015, we go to the early production bikes. They were numbered actually. Kawasaki did it for I think 3 years, 15, 16 and 17. So those year bikes had it was only a 200 pieces run for the whole world.
Okay.
So how you get a H2 is not like you just walk into a showroom and buy it off. No, so there's an order window opens every year. Right now it's open.
Okay.
It's usually opens end of October, November.
Yeah.
Usually it's open for 2 months, but if the order is, well, let's say Kawasaki has allotted, they're gonna make around 300 H2s for the whole world. If that order window, they fills up those orders, within 15 days, they will shut down the order window.
Okay, but so this year I've noticed they've kept their order window up
Open
till December.
Yes.
So I have a feeling that it might be the last year that they might be making the bike.
No.
No?
No. So I've already confirmed with few dealers around the area. They said, no, this year is not the last run.
So maybe next year?
Maybe, because the bike is coming to, next year will be the 10 years for the bike.
Okay.
So maybe we can expect a special anniversary edition, 10-year edition or something.
Because I do want to purchase one, but I also don't want to get ripped off. I don't want to, you know, have a bike that I paid an arm and a leg for when I could buy a used example for a little bit cheaper, obviously, you know. And in this time, I don't want to be spending crazy money on that bike. But if I knew that it was the second last year or the last year, I can plan myself in that way. But with you have owning or owned two now, the second one that is a lot more modded, it's a stage 2, right? Stage 3. So yeah, so he's on a crazier level than obviously a stock one. But in terms of what you think Kawasaki is gonna do going forward with the H2, do you think they're gonna electrify it, or you think they're gonna do something to the bike to make it more powerful, or
honestly, I don't know. The way we are seeing every manufacturer nowadays, they're moving towards electric cars or vehicles. Even the Kawasaki has launched, I think, 400e. That's an electric bike. Electric and with the combustion engine or something.
Okay.
So I don't know if they're gonna launch an hybrid version of H2. So definitely we can expect something really crazy, because H2 is like powerful. So I can't imagine Kawasaki launching a hybrid H2, and definitely they're gonna step up the game.
Yeah, so in terms of bikes, like a lot of people don't understand is that, like, for the street, frankly speaking, anything above like 700 cc's is already too much coming from anybody. But the reason people buy higher cc bikes here is not necessarily because they're trying to go faster on the street or whatnot. It's because it's less effort. I feel as if to ride them when you're on the highway, your RPMs are a little bit down, you're more relaxed, they're not as buzzy.
It really depends what kind of bike you are choosing. For example, I have a Z900 RS. That's a 900cc. Basically, that bike is it's completely different in terms of engine than a regular Z900.
Yeah.
Okay, and that bike is flickable. You rode that bike too.
Yes.
Right. So that's a 900, and it gives almost the same response.
Road friendly,
More
I guess, right?
road friendly, and it really depends. Like, man, you can ride a 400 too, right? We all started with the smaller bikes. You know,
Yeah.
we are still able to take those bikes on the highway.
Well, those guys are lucky.
Yeah.
Because for me, like a 250 was a lot to start off with, and now, at that time, back about 11 or 12 years ago here in Canada, the insurance system from 0 to 150cc was one similar price, 150 to 250 was this middle ground, and then it was straight from 250 to 550. Okay, and what was happening was a segment between 250 and 550 there was barely any bikes because everything was above 550.
Yeah.
So at that time, about, as I said, around the 2009 mark, there was no bike that you could buy that was a 400cc super sport fared looking bike. They're not super sports, but
There were, but they never came to North America.
They never came to North America, yeah. So at that time, the only option to start on was a CBR 125R and a Ninja 250. Now you have the 400, the 500,
you have 600, a 300 too?
300, I think they changed to 400, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Because the street demands a little bit of power because of the safety aspect, and I think with the traffic and the speeds, or being able to at least go a comfortable speed is better.
I think because nowadays bikes also serve a purpose, because first of all, bikes are cheaper than cars.
Yes.
Especially for the young generation. Let's say if someone is in their like 20s, 21, and they want to go commute to work.
Yeah.
Bike is way cheaper on gas.
Yeah.
Might be a bit expensive on the insurance side,
yeah.
but you're still saving that money, right?
Yeah, you're saving money, but I think
time you can
time is what
zip
you're
around
saving.
the traffic.
Yeah.
You know,
if you live in the city, or you live in an area where you know that you can just kind of quickly park, get off, and go. It's also a passion thing.
Yeah.
Being on two wheels gives you that passion aspect of enjoying your hobby while maybe you're doing other things. But yeah, like between all the bikes you've owned, super sports. And I'm going to give you the hardest question because I know the H2 is your favorite. But if I take the H2 out of the equation and all the other super sports you owned, or let's combine super sports and sport touring, from all your years of riding, which one has so far been your favorite?
That's actually the hard part, because all the bikes are kind of favorite and they all have a different vibe.
No, but you gotta choose one. You gotta choose one, and
out of super sports
and sport touring.
Sports touring.
Combine everything, yeah. So that way, just that one bike that you think, if you could have without the H2, I know your H2 is your favorite bike, but what else would you?
If I look at in terms of let's say if I have to go on a tour or anywhere, okay, that I should be able to service the bike by myself. Parts availability is a must, regardless if I'm anywhere, any corner in the world.
Yeah.
I think I'll go with the Royal Enfield Interceptor 650. Okay. The bike is
easily serviceable.
It's cheap on parts. You know, parts are available. You know, regardless, you go anywhere in the world, you can get the parts, right? And you can cruise around that bike, you can whip around that bike, you can easily do 170, 180 if you want to, but you know, I think that's the bike. That's not a super sports category, that's more like a touring street cruiser kind of category. Got you. But that's the bike I would say I can take everywhere, anytime.
Okay. For me, it would be the the sport touring version of the ZX10, the Z1000.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think you get the power from Kawasaki, you get the cheap parts,
Yes.
you get a good look, you get saddlebags, right? You get
Yeah.
comfortable seating, and you got an amazing inline four-cylinder sound.
Yeah.
And you get the price below some of these new bikes that are asking
Yeah.
crazy prices for.
Yeah, it all depends, you know,
Yeah.
because I come from a British bikes
Yeah,
background,
you
you
come
know.
from a classic bike stuff.
Classic bike stuff,
Yes,
you know.
yeah.
Because growing up, I've literally ridden almost every kind of bike. Sometime I was changing bikes every week, you know. I was
Yeah,
switching
yeah,
from 350
yeah.
to 650 because sometimes 700, sometimes I'm riding a 500 twin. So, you know, so those bikes I'm more familiar with. I work on my bikes too. I service my H2 and other bikes as well. But if I have to take around everywhere, I can definitely, I will prefer a parallel twin engine than an inline four.
Yeah, because I grew up with just North American bikes.
Yeah.
With North American bikes here, especially in Canada, the bike culture here was really centered around Japanese bikes at first. I've dibble-dabbled a little with Italians, Ducati and whatnot, but I found that the maintenance is really high.
Yeah.
So
They're temperamental.
Yeah, but
Italian bikes are temperamental.
my best and favorite and cheapest to maintain super sport has been the Gixxers. I feel as if the bang for the buck is amazing because your part availability is there. There's a lot of commonly shared parts between the models, right? 600, 750,
Yeah,
the thousands. And then on top of that, the maintenance intervals are really cheap to do. And Suzuki's last like a lifetime, man. Like, you know, like 150,000 kilometers on a Gixxer is not anything uncommon. I've seen 2006 K6s, the K8s. They're up there in their kilometers.
So that's another topic actually. A lot of people ask like how many kilometers are good to have on a motorcycle, you know. I've seen the motorcycles with the 100,000 kilometers on it, even the inline fours, super sports. It all comes down how the bike was maintained. Okay,
That's true.
especially the Japanese bikes are built to last. Okay, they are not for like use and throw like the American cars or something, you know. Regardless if the engine is running fine, you are doing just regular maintenance, these bikes can last more than 150,000, man.
Yeah, but
it's just in your
very
head,
hard.
you know.
It's very hard to keep a bike running for that long without doing some sort of major maintenance.
Obviously if you're running a stock bike,
Yeah.
let's say just a regular tune, a normal tune, and you know, running a full system on the bike,
Yeah.
it's more than enough.
Yeah.
You're not trying to gap any jet fighters here.
So I know you're right now working on bringing your fleet a little bit, making it a little bit tighter, getting rid of a few bikes and whatnot. But in the future, if you were to stop riding super sports, then I guess you would probably move on to a sport touring or a cruisers, or what would you?
What I want to do is, I already have a cruiser, I have a Harley, so but I don't like it much. It's way too heavy even for the guy like me, you know. Maybe I want to switch to an adventure touring bike, you know.
Okay, like
Probably I'll go
ADV.
for the BMW GS 1250, not the new 1300. I still prefer the older look. Or I will go for the Honda Africa Twin.
Yeah.
I know that there are KTM's adventure tourer bikes, but I prefer to go with the Honda or the BMW.
Okay.
Because more like a I'm more lean towards the Honda because it's a very nice bike.
Yeah. Someone's racing down the road. Oh wow. Okay. It's a Civic. No. It's a Corolla S. Corolla S. But yeah, like, the bike culture here is very interesting compared to the States, but we just wanted to make a video for you guys just to talk about, you know, our preferences in bikes and what we like about them, what we see the market is changing with, and we'll make these videos more often, especially in the winter time, and we'll try to get Maple Biker over here to record some of his in shenanigans in the garage. But I just wanted to, as I said, get a video out, chatting, coffee, talk about some bikes, especially the H2. Oh, I forgot. The H2 and the H2R. The biggest difference between those two bikes is that the H2R is more like a track bike, right?
Yes. So H2R is only a track specific bike. Okay. But H2 and H2R shares a lot of components.
Okay.
Okay. If a lot of people don't know the difference between both bikes, but you can ride both bikes, but the thing is, riding H2R on the road is not, advisable, because the thing is, H2R, it doesn't have a fan.
So you have to install that after?
Yeah, you have to do a lot of mods to that bike, and that bike, Kawasaki built that bike only for a track. Okay.
Yeah.
And that bike is
demonic.
Yes, it is. There's a lot of, we can, create a completely different video explaining the differences between both the bikes.
Yeah, you know what? We'll do that. Yeah. We'll get another video up with maybe when it's more lighter with some bikes out. And we'll create a video to explain the difference between the H2R and the H2, because a lot of people, I think, don't know the differences, but similarities. Also, the reason for why the H2R was created, and then we'll talk about similar, like the V4, the V4R, and M1000, S1000s. There's street bikes that are sport bikes, super sports, and then there are super sports that are designed from the factory for the track. And a lot of people don't realize that for your money and for what you're using the bike for, it's a lot sensible to get the super sports for the street than it is to get for the track.
Yeah, because the reason nowadays, we can see with the BMW, they have an M1000, which is only a track specific bike, same as the Ducati. They have the
but
R.
the M1000 and the Ducati Rs, you can actually ride on the street.
Right on the street, yes, you can. And the H2R is only a street specific, and there's a reason to that, because
that's track specific.
Yeah, track specific. Sorry, and because that bike is missing a lot of roadworthy components, and Kawasaki has built that bike only with one purpose: to be a missile on the track. Okay, and when you look at the bike in person, there's a lot of differences. Like, just for an example, that bike don't have any O2 sensor.
So in the sense of when you say track, right, why would you choose an H2R over something like a M1000RR or a Ducati V4R when the weight is so much lighter on those other bikes? Is that, you mean track like kind of like a straight line track, or more?
They're more track specific, because
how many people take H2Rs on an actual track and actually track them? I doubt
there's not many people. There are, but those people have been doing tracks for so many years. There are people in the GTA who has the H2Rs, and probably they have taken the bike only few times on the track. Because the thing, you crash M1000, it will be way cheaper to repair that bike than to repair the H2R.
Yeah, but again, going around a bend or going around a corner in an H2R with all that power available, with all that finicky power delivery, you gotta know what you're doing. At the end of the day, you gotta know what you're doing on a regular.
You have to be a pro.
Sport. Yeah, I think you have
to be a pro track rider before you can even touch that bike. Because here's the fact: you ride a regular S1000 for the track. I have a S1000. Sorry, not for the track, for the road, and I have the same bike too. How many times we have used the full 200 horsepower on the road?
That's the thing. So that's what a lot of the track oriented bikes don't make sense to me, because why are you paying more to use the same purpose of that bike on the road, right? At the end of the day, these companies are selling you this upsell to make their money. I understand.
It's more like a personal thing if you want to ride because here's the thing, even in the car world, we have seen the Indy cars being driven on the road, right?
Yeah,
we have seen some NASCARs being as a road legal. We have there are people doing the stuff.
Again, back to what I'm saying is, a lot of the bikes, cars built for the track, are not seeing track use. They're too expensive.
They're too expensive,
and the owners don't want to take them on the track because of that. The owners are like, Why would I do that? Isn't it weird? Isn't it a crazy part?
Nobody gonna do it until unless someone is
Yeah.
like crazy rich with the money. Okay, they don't
Yes.
care where the money is now object. You know, those people can take those bikes or cars on the track, and there are people who exist. You know,
But the the brand that I see that abuses and uses their car on the tracks and they're meant for the track is Porsche.
Porsche.
Yeah.
If we talk about more in the bike world, on the track,
Aprilia.
you will see a 10R, ZX 10R. You will see
Kawasaki.
the Kawasaki. You will see the BMW. You will see the Honda or Yamaha.
Yes, yes.
But you will see the road versions on the track. Here's the thing: the people who is doing the tracks, they will take a road version bike,
Yes.
probably convert them for the track, and
Yes.
they will take those bikes on the track.
Well, all the track junkies, how they've explained it to me is buy the most base version of the bike you want for the track, because you end up stripping down everything and
Yes.
putting everything from your own perspective of how you like the bike to be. The suspension, you know, the forks, let's say your seat, your pegs, your wheels, weight, all that is now up to you.
Just for example, we both have the S1000s with the DDC, okay?
Mhm.
And even in the GTA area, there are people who's using the BMWs on the track, the S1000s. They have spec'd their bikes without the DDC.
So
They're
DDC is good for the road,
not for the track.
not for the
Because
track.
the track, the rider, they want
Sets the bike up.
set the bikes up
Mhm.
by themselves.
Yes.
You know, so they manually dial the suspensions according the way
Yes.
they like it on the track.
So for the S1000s, there is a DDC delete kit.
yes.
So a lot of track riders, they tell you to buy the base S1Ks
Yeah.
because they don't come with the DDC. If you're just gonna take the DDC out anyways,
Yeah.
right? But you have to know you're tracking the bike at that point. But you're not using most of the power on that bike anyway.
That's what I
so,
say. You know,
yeah.
I have the H2.
Yeah.
You have the BMW.
Yeah.
We probably never use the full potential of the bikes because on the
Yeah.
road even.
Yeah.
We can probably do a few pulls and that's it.
Yeah, because a lot of people on the road, the ones that are using the full potentials, are also breaking every single law every second of their ride, right?
Yeah.
I'm
yeah.
past that point, you're past that point. A lot of our friends are past that point. But anyways, we'll get the other video done with telling you guys the difference between the H2 and the H2R. But so far, this is a situation with the H2s and the street bikes and road bikes. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video.
Yeah, and if you guys want to know more about the H2 in depth, probably we can do another video just explaining about the H2,
Yep.
its ownership reviews and stuff. So
Yep.
obviously we can do that.
And follow him on IG, Maple Biker, and he'll have his YouTube up as well. Or do you still already have it up? Or
Its channel is there. I posted one video and not much, you know, just
Okay.
busy with the work, but
yeah,
hoping to start it up next year.
yeah.
So
So he'll have like a lot of rebuilds on the channel and whatnot. And yeah, guys, thank you for tuning in. Nothing crazy. Just wanted to discuss bikes and cars. So if you're really a bike or car nut like us,
bike, cars, and coffee.
yeah, so you can join the conversation and enjoy. Anyways, have a good day, week, and make sure you guys subscribe, like, and comment.